world. My name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love video games.
My name is Raph, and I also love video games.
Hey guys, Benny here, and I love video games.
And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Today, we're starting off that New Year's right with inflammatory comments regarding probably somebody's favorite game.
Womp womp.
That's right. We are we're gonna do an episode that is we're gonna discuss games that are good that we don't like, aka games we just don't understand.
You know, I'm excited for this one because we don't talk about a lot of this beforehand. So
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you guys think.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this,
especially Raph. I'm waiting
Yeah.
with bated breath to hear what Raph has to say. I heard it's spicy.
My,
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
my parallel on this is I love 90s alternative music, but I really never liked Pearl Jam. And no one can understand how I could love 90s
Fuck
alternative
hates
music
Pearl Jam
and
so
not like
much.
one of the holy trinity of 90s alternative music. So that's what's about to happen.
Your hatred for Pearl Jam is entertaining.
It runs deep. Me and Eddie Vedder were mortal enemies.
We got this idea from when Buck brought Arkham Asylum as a retro zone, and I hate that
Horrid.
game until I went off. And we were like, we could do a whole episode on that. That's kind of funny. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
great.
Matt tore
So
it
that's
up
what we're
so
gonna
hard that
do
now I
today.
hate Batman.
Oh.
No,
No,
Oh,
no.
man.
Yeah.
I don't
I
hate
love that
Batman.
game.
I
Come
love
on.
Batman.
yeah,
No, it's
I
good.
love Batman.
Okay, but before we get into that, we do have some really funny video game news that just dropped. What was this? Is this yesterday?
As of this recording,
today, which was a week ago, and yesterday,
Yesterday,
as of today, and
Last
this,
night. We found it last night. As we were
and and
I'm sorry, yesterday as of
it
today
is-
is such a
it
funny
is-
sentence.
yesterday, as of yesterday's today. Okay, that's the second time I've sang that song, I think, on this
Yeah,
podcast.
I think so.
So you know it, you love it. It's the Atari Game Station Go.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
None.
Well,
What?
Atari
Record
dropped on
scratch?
Atari dropped on YouTube, so I guess they already had something called the Atari Game Station, which sounds like a console that the guys who make South Park would make up for an episode of South Park. And it had a bunch of Atari games built into it. And so now they are entering the mobile console market in our what was it? So we were talking about where we were talking about more people making mobile like consoles. Atari's
handhelds
throwing
are the
their
way of the
hat in the
future,
ring
yeah.
first. Yeah. Which is
I
really
want
funny.
Nintendo Switch. We have Nintendo Switch at home.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch at home.
Isn't it so funny that
Xbox?
Like, yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say Xbox.
No, yeah.
Don't fuck this up this bad. You see
No,
what they
you really
did?
gotta get
You
on
see what
it.
they did,
Yeah.
Xbox?
They'd have to go out of their way to fuck it up this bad.
Don't do it. Okay. So
It's
let me
just wild
describe
me,
to the
first
viewer.
handheld console
Hold my beer.
announced. Go ahead. Is this thing the Atari? Like,
Yeah.
just go.
It's just go.
Just go. He's already given up.
I
I
frustrating.
digress.
It's
Fucking
so
thing.
frustrating. I hate it.
It's well, it's ugly as all hell. It has the 1970s color schemes of the 2600, so it's a German flag essentially. It's got red and black and white and orange on it, and it's got a D-pad that looks like a nightmare. It's not like a clicky D-pad like the Switch has.
like the
it's not
Nokia
that pad,
N-Gage's
but it's
D-pad.
it looks
Yeah.
like a Mad Catz controller's D-pad. It
Ooh.
also features one of the round balls that you needed to
Track
play a
ball.
lot. The track balls that you needed to play a lot of Atari games.
Dial.
That's
The
in a
dial.
very awkward low left-hand corner of the system, and then at the very top left-hand corner of the screen, they have an analog stick, which looks fine.
No, that's
That
a
actually-
rotary dial.
Raph looks so
Oh,
disgusted
I'm
right
so
now.
sorry.
That's an
So
Arkanoid
That's a
style
rotary
rotary dial.
Never mind. That's terrible.
It has
Dial.
a fucking numpad.
It has on the
L1,
right hand
L2.
side. Yes, it has a number pad like a phone would have.
That's because the Atari 5200 has a lot of games. And
Yes.
television had a lot of games like that
Yeah.
too that used a.
But then it
phone.
also,
Yeah.
for some reason, has glow in the dark, or not glow in the dark, but light up X, B, A, and Y buttons.
Sure.
According to this article, it's they presume it's going to be loaded with games just like how the original Atari Game Station Pro or the Atari the Atari Game
you had it
Station
right.
Pro was, and now they're just like there's a they tote a micro SD card slot on the top. I see an HDMI port. Yeah, it's got shoulder buttons. I don't know if you're going to be able to load ROMs onto this thing, but it looks so ugly. And
Please, no one buy this.
the
Sure,
keypad
whatever.
thing is
Yeah.
in the way. It's terrible.
Oh, your hand like has to like constantly hits it because they didn't test it at all.
It's so silly. Atari, you're so
Yeah.
silly for this.
So here's the biggest problem with this thing in general, besides what you just explained. Atari games are great, and they're great history of video games, right? They set the pillars of what the gaming industry has become today. Them and a lot of those other competitors back then, a Television, ColecoVision, all those. But those games just do not hold up. They are the
No.
epitome of you play it for 30 seconds, you get your dopamine historical nostalgia rush, and then you're done.
Right. That's why that UFO 50, that Atari whatever, that collection, that museum collection
Right.
That they came out where they like explain to you why this piece of shit game is not a piece of shit or whatever, even though it totally is. Yeah, I don't know who this is for, Atari. Good luck. Try not to get bought by somebody else this year, or I guess if you do, you do what you got to do. But that's it for this. I no longer want to discuss this piece of trash. Let's go back in time with this week's Retro Zone, brought to you by RetroGameTreasure.com. Buck, would you please take us back in time,
Let's
sir?
go back in time. It's like Venny's here in the room with us. So perusing the warehouse, and I had, you guys correct me if I'm wrong because I could be wrong, but I had an epiphany because I think there might be a console that we carry at Retro Game Treasure that I have not covered a game for on the Retro Zone since we started.
Okay.
And so I plucked a gem from that, and that is 1986's by Sega for the Master System.
Master System.
Ghost House.
Ooh, baby.
The cover has a guy's hand on it holding the thing.
So
really
I don't know if
funny.
you knew, but the Sega Master
is the
System
game.
had both cartridges and cards like the Hue cards and a TurboGrafx.
Cool.
So the game is the size
of
of a credit
Yeah.
card, and it plugged into the console as well. This was based on an arcade game that Sega made called Monster Bash. It's called Ghost House. You basically play as it's like you know what it plays like, Mac? It kind of plays like Goonies 2. You run around in
Okay.
like a house on a map, but you go through doors and ladders to go to different areas of the house.
Are there first person moments?
No, there's no good first
No.
person mode. It's not. I didn't say it's as good as Goonies 2. I said it's like Goonies 2.
Okay, so it's
The,
side scrolling adventure sort of situation.
Yeah, and the basic premise is you're this kid running around this haunted house. You collect these keys. You unlock these vampires' coffins with the keys, and then you have to defeat the vampire when he comes out.
Cool.
It's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cute little platform. Mick,
have
the young
never-
vampire hunter.
Mick?
Mick, Mick.
Mickey?
Almost you.
This game looks cute.
It's a fun little game, a little repetitive on the music, but it's fun.
Aw.
He has to make his way out of the
You're
mansion.
playing essentially as it looks. What's the kid from the Munsters? Eddie?
Eddie Munster.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty. The timeline definitely lines up with all that too. So basically, you got to destroy the 5 vampires or Draculas, as the instruction booklet says.
Don't tell me it says destroy the 5 Draculas.
Let me see. I have the instruction booklet right here in this complete inbox copy.
And it's
Oh, these 5 Draculas
that is
in all.
amazing.
4 of them are
That's-
dummies, but each one has a precious stone and must be destroyed.
Okay, I see. There's 4 or 5 Draculas because they're his
Oh.
clones. Wink, wink, wink.
Wink, wink, wink. It's pretty
Why does
funny,
the
actually.
main
Dracula,
character
I'm
look like
pretty sure.
Glenn Danzig?
So fun.
Dude,
You're
is that
Mick.
episode of Squidbillies where they keep Dracula, Dracula?
I love that
Oh
show.
my god, that's
You're
really
Mick,
funny.
the normal-looking guy in the blue shirt, and everyone else, or should we
Wow.
say everything else, is out to get you.
Well, this is cute. Unfortunately, I have
Alrighty.
never seen this. Yeah, I have.
Me neither, dude.
I really love the little, like, they're called hue cards on the TurboGrafx. I forget what they're called on the Sega cards, I think. Yeah, the Sega cards they call them.
It's one of the most endearing things about that system, honestly. The fact, and because then they have, what's the handheld that also plays those cards?
So the Nomad only plays Genesis carts. It doesn't play Master System.
No. The guys that made the other the one with Bonk on it.
Oh, you mean TurboGrafx
the
and the
TurboGrafx,
TurboGrafx
yeah.
Express.
The Express,
Yeah, that plays the hue card
same
games. Right.
cards, same games. You just got to take them on the
But
go.
all of the
Pretty
TurboGrafx
sick.
games are on the card, whereas the Master System has both. They actually later
I know,
remade
I'm
this game
just-
in the cartridges as well.
I'm just saying that's a cool thing about the TurboGrafx.
Oh,
16.
yeah. Well, the TurboGrafx in general is really cool. It's just so damn expensive.
Right.
Everything that touches it is expensive.
Well, one more time with the name on that one. Ghost House?
Ghost House.
Ghost House.
For the Sega Master System.
For the Mega Saster. Do you have to? You must
The
have to
Mega
have some
Disaster
sort of. You
System.
can't just put that right into the Master System's top slot, can you? You have to
The
have an
Master
attachment?
System has a secondary slot in the front for the Sega cards.
Sega, you're fucking crazy. Well, hey, let's move on. Let's move on. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into the meat of our episode, which will be making people mad. All right, we'll take a quick break. Be right back. All right, we're back, and it's time. It's time to make people angry and air our grievances. So, all right, listen, we got to set a ground rule for this episode where we're all in on the bit. There's only one rule, and it's we listen, we don't judge. All right. So I will have no refuting of other people's points. I do not want to hear someone say, "Oh no, you're so wrong." Oh no, I don't want to hear anyone say, "Oh well, how long did you play it? How long did you play it for?" None of that. Okay, we're all on the same team here.
You don't want this to devolve into an episode of the Besties.
No. I hate that. I think that's stupid. We're all on the bit, which is that we're about to shit on video games that we know people like. Yeah.
Got it. Eddie Vedder. Got it.
Yeah. So do not attack each other or it will become a not safe space to do so. I will go first.
Oh, boy,
all
here
right.
we go.
No, you're
So
wrong. Oh, sorry.
I'm coming. I'm coming immediately for a game of the year. This is a game that I purchased for the PlayStation 2 when it came out because the marketing looked good. The cover, the artwork looks good. This is a game, like a game series with an excellent track record that I had never played before, and I was like, "Oh man, IGN says it's a 9 out of 10. It might win Game of the Year. This is crazy. I'm gonna get this." And me and my friends, we were both gonna get it. And we're gonna play at the same time. And that is Dragon Quest VIII. I did not like this game at all.
Really?
I grew up on Final Fantasy, and Buck played a little bit of Lunar and Chrono Trigger, right? But mostly, there's a lot of Final Fantasies out there, and Buck just played them all. So I would say, like, I grew up on Final Fantasy. And it's just like, you know, if you know anything about these two franchises, they just got big style differences. Like, this one is not from the first person. You did get to see your team while you fought, so you at least got that. But the overall style and the storyline being very childish was like, oh, I'm not really used to this. Normally, in the first Final Fantasy game I ever watched Buck play, that opens with you being framed for murder, essentially, because you bring a bomb into a king's throne unbeknownst to yourself. And then all of a sudden you're like a fugitive. And it was just like, what? And then in Final Fantasy VI, you got this guy who literally tears the earth asunder. You know what I mean? And then in Dragon Quest VIII, it was like, there's an evil wizard. And he looks cute as hell. And I was like, all right, so I'm already out of...
That's very Dragon Quest. That's about par for the course. If that's not your cup of tea, then you won't.
Right.
You won't
They're
be a
all
fan
like that.
anyway. They all are like that.
It was just the shock value of not knowing that it was, because I was a kid when this came out, and you know, and I just didn't know what to expect, and I expected a different thing. But that wasn't even. I was just like, okay, well, this is kind of a different kind of RPG, but whatever. It's a little bit more colorful and rounded than what I like and what I'm used to. But the absolute gripe for me in this game is the synthesizing alchemy pot if you play this game, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
remember how
It's
much you hated
fucking
that.
ridiculous, man. It's so in order to synthesize items in this game, which include the weapons that you will want to get for your characters, but also like potions that you will need for certain things and stuff like that, you put these ingredients in a pot and then you have to walk around for a certain number of steps before they actually get made. And like some
It's like
of the
Pokemon Go.
items, say again.
It's like Pokemon Go with the eggs. You
It
literally
is. It
walk
is kind of like
around it,
Pokemon
yeah.
Go, except for it's in the game. You don't
That's
actually get to walk around,
annoying.
I'm talking hundreds of steps got to get taken for some of these items, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And it's just like you'd be. You'd be like, okay, I want to get this new piece of armor. All right, well, I got to get this item. Sorry, let me go farm that. Okay, what's the drop rate for this item? Oh, it's 6%. Okay, so let me fight. Oh, I fought 100 guys and finally I got the thing. Now I'm finally going to go make it. Now I got to walk around for 800 steps. And it's like you'd look up online and FAQs and everyone had the same solution, which is like, if you go into a town and go into a wall, you can actually lay your controller on the side and the analog stick will walk forward. And then you can just like go walk away and make a sandwich real quick. And then when you come back, your item will be done. And I was like, dude, like if people are playing your game this way, like maybe that's not the best way to experience the game because you already made me farm for the items. So like, what the fuck? Like
Dragon Quest is very Japanese at its core, which
Yeah.
includes a couple of things. One, the epitome of you wake up as a young boy and you're given a wooden sword, go save the world. And two, grindy as fuck.
And on top of the fact that making those items was so tedious, I got caught by this. It's my second thing that I really dislike about this game, which is that you cannot have all the best like items at once. So
Ooh.
every character has a couple different weapons they can use. Like this person uses either a bow or a whip. This person uses either a hammer or a mace. The main guy either uses swords or a spear or something like this. And so you would, as you're playing, you're like, you know what? I like this guy with the swords, right? And then 30 hours down the line or something, you find out that in order to get the best sword, you have to sacrifice the best mace or something to get it. And you go, well, I like using the maces on the other guy that I like using in my party, so they both can't have their ultimate weapons. No, you can just have that guy use the other weapon and then have him use the hammers. And it's just like, I don't like the hammers. Why can't like I'm used to Final Fantasy where it's just like you go to the next town and you buy all the new shit. And then you're just like, yay, I'm better now. Like in this game, they like on top of just like having to sacrifice that, if you didn't know that you needed an item to make something like the leather whip that from the beginning of the game, you also use at the end of the game in tandem with the best shield to make the best whip. So I hope you didn't use that whip to make something else earlier in the game, because if you did, now you have to go farm for it in an area that's at the beginning of the game, and it has a 1% drop rate or something. So it's just like, oh man, what? Like this sucks. I don't like this at all. This game looks like Dragon Ball Z, and I like that, but what the fuck, dude? Like this is not the RPG for me. I really was I played it for long enough, I thought, to give it a try, where I was trying to go for ultimate items. And then the fact that I when I checked an FAQ and realized that I had gotten rid of the thing that I needed, I was just like, I'll never forgive this game for wasting my time. I will never forgive you, Dragon Quest VIII. I'm pretty sure I still have my copy, which is annoying, but this game won Game of the Year. It's like one of the most beloved ones in the line of Dragon Quest games, and I think you're wrong, world. You're wrong. Yeah, that is the game that I wanted to take a poop on today.
To be fair, I played this one a little bit too, and I actually didn't like it either. But I just think the game just never grabbed me.
I don't get it.
Just don't get
it's
it.
a Japanese thing. And you know what? It blew my mind to talking back to your Final Fantasy versus Dragon Quest thing. It blew my mind when they merged, when Square and Enix became the same company.
Yeah.
Their styles were so different.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was like it was like Sonic being on a Nintendo console. It was like that'll never happen, you know.
Right.
And now they're both in the same house, and it was
funny.
like whoa. But the funny thing is they've continued on with Dragon Quest being the always traditional turn-based style, and Final Fantasy is the one that's gone in like 10 different directions. Dragon Quest 11 is no different than Dragon Quest 5.
Yeah. Tone wise, it's just that alchemy pot thing
Very
is just
true.
unacceptable. The alchemy pot is the most ridiculous way they could have done
That's
that,
egregious.
and
No,
I just
legitimately,
hated it.
in game design terms, I think that that's honestly pretty egregious. Like if you make a mechanic where people end up having to like break the mechanic to make it palatable, then you've made a bad mechanic.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Okay, I covered a decent amount of time. I don't, because I had another one. I was going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 5, but I will not. Buck, go ahead with your game you'd like to put
That's
on
just because you're
today.
not a 13-year-old boy anymore.
That's the only Grand Theft
I
Auto.
remember when
I've
Grand
actually
Theft Auto
beaten.
3 came out and I didn't buy it and pre-order it. I wasn't on my radar and I was like, I have to find this game right now. Mine, I am going to lose all my gaming street cred. I am going to get hate mail from anyone that watches this, and they will yell at me even though you guys may or may not, because mine is a beloved game in a beloved franchise. It is the 4th installment in the series. The 3rd installment is in my top 10, maybe even my top 5, and this game is in my bottom 10, and that is Metroid Prime for the GameCube.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I even
Go
have
off,
the
King.
Target exclusive with the "this is not a sticker, it's part of the fucking art" Metroid
Ugh.
Prime version.
Oh.
Ew.
This one's a little more collectible though.
I
Look,
agree with you. So you're in a safe space right now.
Damn,
Metroid,
bro.
Super
see that coming.
Metroid, Super Metroid is one of mine, and I know Mac too, favorite games of all time. The
Yes.
way that it pulls you in with the ambiance and the way and the sprites, and God, I love sprites. And I'm so glad indie games have gone the way that they have with going away from more 3D stuff,
Yes.
and I think that is the biggest problem I have with this game. My first inclination was you turned Metroid into a first-person shooter. When I was fighting enemies, when I was fighting bosses, and I was circle strafing them like it was fucking Doom, it didn't have that satisfying feeling. It didn't feel fun. It didn't feel mystic. It didn't feel as good. Even when the bosses had a puzzle to them, even when it was like shoot this switch and this switch and that switch and something drops on the boss, it still has those puzzle effects in it, but it doesn't come to me the same way. Another series that I don't really like because of the 3D space was the Tomb Raider games. They're not some of my favorites because exploring in them is a little difficult in that 3D space.
So I was just about to say the map in this game is fucking garbage.
And so
dude.
the map in this, look, if you didn't like Batman, you want to run around scanning shit in Metroid Prime?
No.
'Cause I don't.
Nope. Exactly. You know what? Exactly. This is the same exact thing.
And I understand where people are coming from, that's part of the mystique. It does kind of still grab the, scary, you're alone kind of thing. I get that. But I know there's some other people in this camp with me where it just didn't click.
To me, that's lazy visual design, because Metroid doesn't need a scan the room button for you to go, that block doesn't look right. Or like, that's an interesting spot for whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, instead they're like, well, since they're going to have to be looking at so much and it'll be really fucking hard to see everything, we'll make a cheat code thing that they just have to spam all the time so that they can find the clues that we're hiding for them. It's just like, you don't want me to just be able to find them in your puzzle game? Like, yeah.
Yeah. The visor that she wears is actually more distracting than it is helpful to like the interface.
Oh yeah, the field of view is terrible.
It's not, yes, but it's not just that. It's like
The
it always
reflection of
has
her
that
face.
HUD and plus the like the visory kind of effect over her
like
face.
The Iron Man fucking
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, it's already kind of dark in most of these areas, and it's already I'm supposed to be searching and search and rescuing, whatever, search action rescuing, right, Raph?
Yes.
And I have to do that with like Geordie LaForge visors on while I'm trying to do it. Like, I think there's a thing up there. Oh, let me scan it. Let me go find it. Let me shoot this guy. Let me lock onto him. Let me circle strafe so I don't get shot.
Computer, tell me what's in front of me. I can't see a fucking thing.
The saving grace of this game is it came out a day after Metroid Fusion for the GBA. So I could just play Metroid Fusion.
Okay, I was about
Good
to say,
game.
because Metroid Fusion kind of kicks ass.
Metroid Fusion's amazing.
Yeah,
So they were scared that they had messed it up for some fans, and rightfully so. So they gave us an amazing Super Nintendo 2 game
I'm sorry.
at the same time.
Any game where you have to collect things, search action style or Resident Evil style, because these are now sometimes in first person, are never as good in first person as they are in third person because no one enjoys doing this
He's
to
spinning in
find shit.
circles. For
No one
anybody
wants
that's not
to
on
spin
YouTube,
all the way around
he's spinning in
360
circles.
degrees 10 times to look at a room.
You forgot to
I
look
want to
up.
be able to just look in the room and look at it all and go, okay, there's nothing in here. Whether that be from the side in Metroid or in like the case of the new Resident Evils, like the Resident Evil 2 remake and 4 remake from the third person, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, love you, but goddamn if isn't it so fucking hard to find all of the shit with my stupid first person view. I'm sorry.
No, you're not wrong. And
I agree.
It's a style of game that I felt personally it did not lend anything to by jumping to 3D. And so I didn't try the rest of the Prime series. And I know there's a lot of, especially younger Metroid fans that really love that series. And I'm sorry, I understand that you like it, but I don't. When they jumped back and made Dread, I was in heaven.
Yep. I bet. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, I agree with you. I think I didn't like Metroid Prime either. I didn't even like watching you play it. I was just like,
I never beat. No. I don't think I ever beat it.
No,
maybe
not fun to watch.
I didn't
compared
remember
to
if I did.
Beauty, the fucking watching you play Super Metroid as a child, and the bright neon colors, and even the darkness is colorful in Metroid.
We waited
we
waited almost a decade. It was over 8 years from Super Metroid to the dual release of Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime. So when they first started talking about going to the 3D, I was like, oh, okay. Because so many of my other beloved franchises from like the Super Nintendo and 16-bit era days embraced the 3D thing. And so we started getting all kinds of, ports and sequels with 3D shit. And I didn't like most of them.
I agree. Raph, what game that you just don't understand?
Look, I just want to say that I'm going to start this by saying that hate is by its nature illogical. And look, I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts. I just can't. I don't get it. I don't like the aesthetic of the game. Get the fucking Disney out of my fucking Final Fantasy. I'm done with that. Like, it's just, Disney's fine on its own. Final Fantasy fucking great on its own. But the combo just annoys me to an unreasonable degree. It's a good game. It's a good game, but I just don't get it. I think the voice acting is annoying as hell in these games. And for some reason, the Final Fantasy games, like any Japanese port, any Japanese translation is going to have goofy dialogue. It's going to sound kind of funny. The voice acting is going to be kind of funny.
Literally goofy dialogue in this instance.
Kingdom Hearts just off with it. I don't know what it is.
It's like you guys don't like Lance Bass from NSYNC as Sephiroth?
Right. It's exactly. It's hearing Mickey talk about crazy Final Fantasy shit that just like, I'm like, what is going on? Dude, the plot is just the most convoluted nonsense.
Oh, it's magical.
That I can possibly like even imagine it. Like the combat, Final Fantasy 7 remake has like very similar style of combat, and I really enjoyed that game. But for some reason, Kingdom Hearts, it just frustrates me.
It's the floatiness. It's the floatiness.
Yeah, I think it might be that.
Oh, yeah, because there's tons of jumping and having to jump and attack people in the air and shit. Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the platforming sections in this game because they suck ass. I can't stand them. I can't stand them.
They suck ass.
I just copied the Kingdom Hearts timeline into the Discord, guys. If you'd like to.
Yeah, I've tried.
Not in the middle of the show. It'll literally take your entire attention span to try to decipher.
Like a 45-minute video. Like I watched like an hour-long video on the plot of the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and I still don't get it.
The point is how confusing it is.
No, yeah, and it's unfortunate because no one likes esoteric stuff more than me.
Right.
But I can tell when people are phoning it in. Like when it's just like
you're making
the difference between Evangelions, like it's like, in the last rebuild they go to a liminal space that sort of takes place in your mind, and I'm like, oh, that works with this, and like I'm a nothing, and when a nothing spawns, they make a nobody, and a nobody is a heartless nothing with and I'm just like, no, you're just saying words now.
Yeah,
you're just saying, you can't just say words and pretend like they mean something.
And a nothing is your uncle.
Yeah,
and like you could say,
I love you.
You could say as a 36-year-old man that I might have outgrown this franchise or something like that, and I say to that no, because I played this when it first came out, and I gave it a good go, man. I got to the fight with Ursula, got frustrated, gave up, and I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. Just didn't click. That's my game, man. That's
The
my
feelings
game.
of some of us do not reflect the feelings of all of us. No, I'm just kidding.
That's my game. I'm sorry.
I'm
I don't
in
like
the
Kingdom
middle
I
of
Hearts.
love
Kingdom
that.
Hearts
I think
games.
that's fucking incredible.
That
That
is
was such a
funny.
good one to bring.
Clearly
I
on
didn't
your
expect
side,
that at
Ref.
all. Yeah, there you go.
I know.
Thank
I
you.
think there are a
played
lot
and
of people
loved.
that, yeah.
I played and loved the first one, and then the second one felt so repetitive and felt like such a rehash of the first one
Right.
that it was one of those like, yeah, I'm good.
And then the third one was a fucking nightmare, apparently.
I
And
heard
everyone
3 was
fucking
bad.
hated it. And it was
Mhm.
fucking
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. And
Interesting.
God, and not to mention all the thousands of iterations and rehashings and different ports. They're
Chain of
money grubbing
memories and-
bastards, and they try to retcon things. And it's, like I said, it's kind of obvious that it's just like
Like, I just want to say, okay,
this
like
means nothing, right?
Kingdom Hearts, you're not Star Wars. You can't start the first game in the middle of the story. I'm sorry. No,
You're not
come
Star
on.
Wars.
You're not Star Wars. That's good.
That is fantastic. Brave and bold.
Ugh.
Bold of you.
Great job.
Mr. Venicor, what game would you like to poo-poo on today?
Well,
it. Do it.
Stardew
Listen,
Valley.
we've done...
Oh, we got.
I'm very
This is
sorry
amazing.
about this, Mac.
This is the best idea for an episode ever.
Yeah.
I'm giving you
sorry.
both dueling pistols. 10 paces.
Dead dog.
Listen.
I'm glad it's stuff like this
Give
and not
me-
like Fortnite.
Give me the most generic characters in history and have me do chores as my game. That is Stardew Valley.
That's why Mac
But they
loves
made it look really cute, so I can play with my little. I don't. It's stupid. I have no desire. I gave this game a good run. I played like 30 hours of Stardew Valley, and I'm just waiting for the. I'm just waiting for the enriching feeling of accomplishment to kick in. No, I just am supposed to just keep on farming and keep on romancing and who cares?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
it's
play
true.
Castlevania or something good for God's sake. I'm sorry, Stardew
so
Valley. Stardew Valley is a good game, but I just don't like it. There's no nourishment in it for me.
It's
It's
I
got
never did
nothing.
I never did any of the like the storyline interactions. Like I played with my girlfriend and I was like, I literally just want to do the monetizing. Like I want to figure out the best way. Like I'm treating this like a strategy game about crops. I do not want to
Optimize
talk
your
to
farm.
any of the villagers. I don't want to celebrate anyone's birthday because I just don't care about any of them. I really just want to.
It is a game simply and fully devoid of any real satisfaction for me.
That's so
even
awesome.
even though it is
Damn.
universally acclaimed as a good game, and I'm not going to refute that, but I don't like it. It doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
You came in
Sorry.
hot on that one.
That was such a funny explanation of it.
That's
I'm just
so funny.
playing as literally nobody doing chores for a game. It's like that's literally what it is.
If I wanted to be a dad, I would just turn my system off and go do chores at
right,
home. I
go
mean,
plant an actual plant
Or my
outside.
wife.
Jesus.
That's so funny.
The thing with Stardew Valley is there's so many other games like it. It's just the one that got the most popular.
Probably.
Right.
I was
yeah.
going to say Animal Crossing.
You could have
actually,
thrown
but-
could
Oh, yeah, there you
thrown it
go.
at a dartboard with Coral Keeper and Animal Crossing and this and a bunch of other
Harvest
games,
Moon
and
and
whichever
all
one you
that.
hit
Literally
was the one that was the
Harvest Moon.
baby darling, right?
But I had to specifically call out Stardew Valley because
Mhm.
people will not shut up about it.
That's why it's the perfect pick, honestly, because it is universally lauded and everyone talks about how amazing it is, myself included.
That's
But
why I picked
that's
Kingdom
so
Hearts,
funny because
man.
it is exactly what you said. Yeah, I also love Kingdom
Mhm.
Hearts.
Animal Crossing also, like adjacent Animal Crossing, not a fan.
I
of?
almost picked Animal Crossing. It
But
was very
Stardew
close.
Valley is funnier because it's
Yeah.
like you said, it's like
Yeah.
this indie darling, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's so cute!" And,
Yeah.
and
great.
it
And I've
doesn't
bought
have
it twice.
commercials. Yeah,
I've bought the game twice. Don't get me wrong. Like it got my money.
So
It
they
won.
got they got your
Stardew
money.
Valley
Yeah.
won. But
it is
Amazing.
the indie darling. Like it is
Right.
the indie success story. That's so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So to
Sorry.
recap, we did Dragon Quest VIII, Metroid Prime, Kingdom Hearts, and Stardew Valley.
I feel
You can
kinda
reach
bad.
our email at gametreasurepodcast at
Just
gmail.com. Feel free
come at
to
me.
drop a comment in there about how wrong we are.
Just put it in the YouTube comments and argue with everybody.
That
Yeah,
was
There will be people in there
wow.
that will also defend our positions on these
Come
games.
into
Oh,
my
yeah,
Twitch
for
stream
sure.
whenever you want. I will
Right.
fight you. It's not a good
So
game.
funny.
I will.
Fun sidebar on Animal Crossing. In Japan, its physical copy sales just surpassed the previous record holder with 8 million copies. The previous record holder,
Right.
Pokemon Red and Green.
Whoa.
Damn.
Whoa, dude.
So stupid.
So stupid. You don't want to answer the mail for a game? You don't want to look into the mailbox and then go on a run or
And then
something?
pluck your weeds.
Don't
and
worry,
then
because there's no points or way to score or
pluck
way
your
to
neighbor's
lose.
weeds.
Otherwise, yeah, there's no. Don't you want to know what your neighbor's favorite food is?
See, now, Venny, in Japan, Japanese people don't have yards, and they don't have pets, and they don't have wives, so they need Animal Crossing.
Wow, that's very
They don't have
interesting.
a-
I'm not even gonna. That's
not-
kind
not
of.
gonna
That's
say
kind of.
that.
Wow, that's kind
Not
of.
going to say what I was going to say, but yes, you are correct.
Okay. Well, I think that this was good. I think we'll go ahead and
Good air quotes.
I think that this was fun, an airing of grievances. I like Mr. Vennecourt said, we do not talk about this ahead of time, so we did not know any of the games that any of us were going to bring, and I didn't want to bring Arkham Asylum again. So this was really funny, and I feel like
Great
we
job.
picked good games to shit on. All right, let's take a break, and then we will do our what else you got, and then we'll head on out of here. What do you say? All right, what else have you got for me, gentlemen? This is the segment of our show where we can bring anything to the table to discuss, be it video game or otherwise. I have two things I wanted to bring to the table. One of them is a movie. I saw Nosferatu,
Ooh.
and I'm bringing it up in this episode because guess what? I didn't fucking like it.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't like
really?
it, man.
I heard kind of mixed. I heard it was good. I heard it
I
was bad.
love Robert Eggers movies, man. I love The Witch. I love
Good movie.
Northman. I love The Lighthouse.
Also a good
He
movie.
makes really, really good, scary, eerie movies that like take things that I didn't understand why they were scary, like The Witch. When I was a kid and whatever, I was like, witches are not scary. I think of like The Wicked Witch of the West, and I was like, they're like corny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then our mom is like, oh no, when I lived in Massachusetts in 1960, like I used to think there was a witch that lived outside my house and it used to give me nightmares. And I was like,
So
I
we
don't-
burned her and buried her
I
out
was
back.
like, I don't really
What, Mom?
get, I don't understand why that's scary or whatever. But then The Witch comes out and I was like, oh shit, you see her do stuff and you're like, now I get that would be scary if there was a woman in the woods who like kidnapped children to like eat them essentially. That is scary. You're right. I wasn't thinking correctly. And so I was like, man, Robert Eggers doing Nosferatu, he's gonna fucking kill it, dude. Like it's gonna be one of those things where I don't really understand why Nosferatu's scary, and he's gonna convince me, and he didn't. It's
Bummer.
just really more of a drama than a horror movie. It's really allegorical, so the whole thing is basically like Nosferatu is a big metaphor for depression, essentially, and it's just like he is like an allegory for like hunger and unsatiableness, be that sexual insatiableness or like a melancholy that is insatiable or a lustfulness
Dracula
that's
thing,
insatiable.
right?
It's a Dracula thing, yes.
Yeah.
And so he just does a right down the line Dracula thing, but Dracula was written in a time before stories just weren't like real life was scarier than the story of Dracula. You know what I mean? It's kind of a romance in disguise. You know, if you've taken a college lit class, then you know that Dracula, it was written because they couldn't write smut essentially at that time. So they made it a horror movie. And it's like, it's certainly not about a foreign guy who you get lost in his eyes and then he whisks you away to be his forever bride by kissing you on the neck. No, it's about a monster that we hate that. And that guy's bad and has to get killed with a stake. It's that. And there's moments that have cool special effects where like Nosferatu has mind controlling powers. And so the camera will like go to a thing where you're like, wait, what? And then the second later, you're like, oh, he's like, oh shit. He's like casting a spell on her. That's cool. But I don't know. There was one point I watched it with my girlfriend, and there was one point in the movie where I was just like this, and she was just like, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "No, I'm trying to stay awake." And it was like 4 PM. Like I should not have been tired, but I was just
Bummer,
like, this
dude.
movie is
Oh, jeez.
putting me to sleep. Holy shit. So if you like Nosferatu, sorry, I just compared to Robert Eggers' other movies, like go watch The Northman. That movie fucking holy shit, that movie slaps. And then the second thing that I wanted to bring is I watched all of Secret Levels. Has anybody else watched it yet?
Out. Oh my
Everyone
God.
forgot, right? Everyone
Yeah, I
forgot.
forgot.
Everyone forgot.
I
I was like, oh shit, we have a podcast about video games. I should watch this.
Oh my God.
So and
Should go
by
straight to the Mega Man one.
by I watched them all, I mean I watched the ones that aren't the stupid games. Like I
Right.
didn't watch Crossfire and I didn't watch Concord, but
How was the
Crossfire?
Warhammer one?
Crossfire
Milton
is
Bradley?
that game Crossfire X, which is that PlayStation first-person shooter. Like it's a Sony Studios first-person shooter. That sucks.
Okay. I believe everything you're saying, but I
yeah.
still haven't seen it.
And then there's like another one that's based off of that Amazon game, the MMO that they did, New World or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I watched like
So that's kind of good. Yeah, you
I
can
watched
skip
like
those. Yeah.
2 minutes of that one, and it has Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a voiceover as a character, and he sounds like he needs to go into hospice right now. Like he's just like, guys, you don't have to pull him out. You could do an AI of his voice, and I'm
Right.
sure we'd be fine. Do
Would
a
you
sound
like to
alike.
buy some
Because I was like,
potions?
that sounds like a really tired Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. And then I like did the X-ray on Prime, and it's like that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, ooh, someone need to get him a water. His voice is not good.
I phoned this in.
How was the Warhammer one?
Yes, let me get to the
Okay,
meat,
yeah,
which is
the-
the good shit.
The good
So,
ones, yeah.
the Mega Man one is cool.
Cool,
Buck,
good.
I think you'll agree. Is it the best piece of animation ever? Probably not. There's a part where they kind of the Dr. Light is like he overacts even though he's a CG character. I was like, you need to tone it down. Anyhow, it's really cool because it does a good job of showing how Mega Man is both a boy and a robot.
Oh, cool. Like Astro Boy.
It's like he's Dr. Light's son. Dr. Light didn't build him with the intentions of being a fighting robot. He's like a kid.
Right.
But then like some shit happens and he's like, I need help. And then Mega Man's like, I'll help you. You know what I mean? He's like, no, don't. You're not built for this. But then, oh shit, he surpasses his, his programming and becomes a Mega Man. And it was like, okay, this is really cool. I like this.
I listen to a lot of Proto Men. That's not actually what happens in the Mega Man storyline, but I'll still watch.
I know exactly. I was like, I'm pretty sure he was built to be a fighting robot, but then like I said, there's always been that like, he's his son and he's a boy, but he's
Proto
a
Man was supposed to be
robot
the fighting
who fights?
robot, and Mega Man's his son. Yeah.
When you watch it, you'll be like,
I got you.
okay, if this was
That's cool.
if this had the budget of Mario and came out in theaters, this would be fine.
I'm down.
And the Pac-Man one is absolutely ridiculous and so stupid. And that new Pac-Man that they teased at the Game Awards, I don't know if you remember that trailer. I think that it looked crazy. It's going to be based off of this short, and it's like it's so dumb. It's like that Scavenger's Reign show, but with Pac-Man. It's literally about like a guy who's like trying to survive on an alien planet, and the Pac-Man is like guiding him around, like you must consume the wildlife. And I was just like, what coked up executive idiot made this fucking short get off the ground? This is so stupid.
Atari.
But the Keanu Reeves in Armored Core is fucking awesome.
Oh, I forgot that was
He
an
plays
episode.
a Hiro Yui style character who's basically like not himself when he's not fighting in a robot. Like they're like, nah, man, like some people go to the war, but the war came to him. And so he's like all fucked up and he's more alive when he's fucking people up in his robot than he is when he's out on the streets, man. And it's Keanu Reeves. And so he does a really good job doing that. And then the 40K episode is fucking tight. It's just as good as all those Astartes shorts that were on YouTube. You'll love it, Buck. It's about it's one of the sword wielding Space Marines, the Astartes sword, the Blade Guard.
Okay.
It's just a group of Blade Guard landing on a planet that's like filled with chaos guardsmen, and they just like there's this amazing fight scene that is just like all to a rock music. Like you don't hear any of the sound effects, but you just watch these fucking Space Marines just absolutely decimate these guys, and it
Can we
is
play Space Marine now?
fantastic. And then last point I wanted to make is that the sleeper best episode that came out of nowhere for me that I was just like, holy shit, was the Unreal Tournament episode.
Oh, okay.
It's
shit.
so good, dude. It's
Cool.
so good. I don't know what the actual plot to Unreal Tournament is, so I don't know how many liberties they take to do this episode, I don't want to spoil it, Buck, because I think you will be
Cool.
like, "Whoa, what the fuck? This is really
I
good."
enjoyed the Unreal games before they were tournament, like the original Unreals.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the plot is. It's about I'll just not without spoiling anything because it happens right away. It's about a robot who becomes sentient, and then there's an uprising of robots, and then all of a sudden it's about a bunch of guys that gotta fight bots in this tournament in order to show the uprising robots their like where their place is. So they hold a gladiatorial style game against bots.
Good
It's like
solution.
geniusly invented in Unreal Tournament. You classically just queue up a game against bots, quote unquote.
Funny.
But in this case,
I
it's
get it.
literally robots. It's awesome.
How
You'll
long
love
are
it.
each of the episodes?
Like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all
Cool.
super duper short.
Interesting.
But yeah, I was so impressed with that one, and I was like, I don't like Unreal Tournament at all, really. And this was like
It's fun.
really smart and really cool. So yeah, it's on Prime. Go and watch it. All of you go and watch it and tell me what you think.
Will do.
All right, Buck, what else have you got for us this week?
There's a video there for you guys in Discord because Stern Pinball just announced that they made a Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine based on an original adventure.
Wow,
It's not based on the movies.
It is
It's
so
in conjunctions
hot.
with Wizards and in the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. It's got a gelatinous cube on the playfield. It's got dungeons. It has a built-in video mode where you actually crawl through the dungeons and make choices and decisions, and you have to hit shots to make your characters roll for damage and such. It uses they have this thing called Insider Connected. Stern's had for a few years now, where you can keep track of your scores by scanning your QR code on your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It uses that to save your game. You can be in the middle of a dungeon when your ball drains and pick back up the dungeon. You can be in the middle of an adventure and pick the adventure back up again. The dungeons are randomly generated, and every Sunday they reset.
Whoa.
So you have the whole
awesome.
week to explore the dungeons and play more and play more and level up and level
Holy
up.
shit. This looks awesome.
Yeah,
It gets better.
This has
fucking cool,
the
dude.
most gadgets and gizmos on a fucking pinball
pretty
machine
good.
that I've ever fucking
So,
seen.
the
It is
music
berserk.
in this game is by Chris Velasco. He did Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the Mass Effect series. He's like a game. If you
Orchestral shit.
look up him as a composer, and he has like 40 games long, going back 20 something years. The voice acting, Michael Dorn, fucking Worf plays Wrath of the Red Dragon.
Whoa, that's
dude.
fucking tight.
Other voices,
What?
one of the adventurers, Kevin Smith.
Wow.
Another adventurer, Luke Gygax. That's Gary Gygax's
shit.
son,
Yeah.
the
Holy
founder
shit,
of Gary
wow.
Con, and Chris Pernosky. And if you don't know who he is, he was a director of a season of Metalocalypse and Megas XLR because he's friends
Cool.
with Brendan Small, who also
Brendan
does some
Small.
voices in this game.
Wow.
way.
The members of the party are the Critical Role guys: Matthew
Cool.
Mercer, Laura Bailey, Marisha Ray, Anthony Carboni, and Mika Burton, and
Holy
Gerard Way.
Whoa.
The lead singer from My Chemical
What?
Romance is one of the voice actors
Holy
in this game.
shit, dude.
Like-
That's like unnecessary amounts of production for a
All the
pinball
art is
machine.
by Franco, the guy that does all the D&D art for Wizards, does a lot of their art. He did all the artwork on this thing. Like it's a 50th anniversary love letter to Dungeons and Dragons.
This thing's gonna start appearing in barcades because this thing is
This
cool
thing's
as
gonna
fuck.
appear in Bucky Cheese's because I think Jaws or Foo Fighters is gonna be leaving, so we can get a Dungeons and Dragons.
Holy shit, this thing is tight.
I had heard the rumors, but you never know with these guys
Right.
till they're true.
Unbelievable. If you watch the YouTube video, it's
My
fucking
God.
unbelievable.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited about the adventuring portion of it
My
because
God.
they need more
Wow.
stuff to.
Saving
pinball
is like some
machines.
next level pinball shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dragon is really cool on the premium LE with its tech. I'd be honest, I'd probably be in for the Pro, which is the more base level, because seeing a mech like that on a pinball machine always makes me worry about having to fix it.
Yeah, it looks crazy though.
Like
Yeah.
a Dragon's head that does all that. It's like all I see is that head getting in the way and breaking.
Yeah. But god damn, it looks cool.
So super excited. And I got one more really good one that
Okay.
I've been saving for a couple of weeks because
Okay.
Mr. Venecor has been empty.
Okay.
Yare yare does it. Oh, nice. Dude, I'm like 30 episodes into JoJo.
Yes, he's doing it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so happy.
I'm all the way through the first season and all of Jonathan and Joseph, and I'm on to old Joseph with Joe Taro. Like we're literally
That's my favorite one.
we
man.
just killed what's his name, the guy that uses the mirrors, like
Oh, the Emperor
counter
or
something, whatever.
yeah.
Too
and
many
we're on-
characters to
Gosh.
remember once you get all the way through the
There
show.
are so many. I
There's
like
so
that
many.
because unlike like Dragon Ball where they stretch it out, it's like here's this guy. All right, we fight him. He's dead. Like
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
Glad
it's
you're
very
having-
episodic,
I didn't
you know?
realize you hadn't watched it. Yeah, man.
I had
JoJo's
never
Bizarre Adventure
watched-
is one of the best animes ever.
Even
Especially that
originally?
Stardust Crusaders is the best.
Well, the original would have come out closer to like right after I was like in college when the manga was popular, and then right after that, I think the first season or so would have come out. So I did not know how quickly it progresses through the timeline. Like when Jonathan dies, I was like, "Wait, what?"
Right.
I
Yeah.
Like
Why?
he's oh, I know, that's cool. I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten.
Oh man, Iggy's the best.
He's
haven't
begun
gotten
to
up to
realize
Iggy yet.
that the different parts of JoJo are like the different
I like that.
generations of JoJo
Yes,
in the
I get
JoJo
that
now.
bloodline.
And it's
There's
all
one
just
that takes place in Florida.
Yep,
No
part
way.
6.
cool. And
Part
the other one, yeah, I
6
haven't
is-
gotten
is-
that. I
is a
haven't gotten
The most
any of
current
that.
I've
one.
only
The most
seen
the most
it's
current
a-
one.
Season.
A female
Is it seasons,
descendant
really?
who
That's cool.
lives literally in the Everglades.
And it's
That's awesome.
and is it roundabout by yes, because is that all just a giant Dio joke?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
all just like a
Oh,
it's,
just
it's
wait.
always Dio, so it's a constant
No,
roundabout?
no, it's not. No.
Are is the ending theme song "Walk Like an Egyptian"? Did they do that on purpose so they could? Did they call their summons stands on purpose to reference that song?
I don't know.
How does that
That's a
reference
good
that
question.
song?
The first line in "Walk Like an Egyptian" is "All the paintings on the wall do the standard like
that-
walk like an
Yeah, do the
Egyptian."
Could be.
That's like the
dance, don't you
first
know?
line. Of
Everything
that
else
song.
is a music reference, so very
Everything
well
else is
could be.
band
Audio
references.
Speedwagon.
Yeah.
Is
I
my
love it.
favorite name.
Kazu, ACDC, Wamu.
Exactly.
Wamu. Oh, okay. So now you know what.
Lisa.
Yeah.
So now you know what the
Yeah.
Pillar
All that
Man
sh- all
joke
the
is
shit
about.
the
Pillar
Pillar
Man, right.
That's an ongoing joke
I
in
just
my Twitch
passed-
stream.
I just passed the episode with Calcoian. How's his name? Where he does the cherry.
Calcoian.
Yeah. So stupid.
Yes, Adam.
Damn, I gotta
Blake.
keep watching
I'm so
JoJo.
happy to hear
Dude,
that.
I'm so
Oh
far
man,
into
yeah,
it
it's
now.
got some of the
JoJo's.
best villains. Like the monster of the week of it all is like, holy shit, dude. There's some that have the
It's
most
fun.
insane powers.
So we're getting
It's
really
awesome.
close to Dio again in Egypt because they've only got a
Speaking
couple
of
people
which,
left, so.
fucking y'all saw my Marvel Rivals post about that.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
why,
knows
yeah.
that. Yeah, the what's it called? The Penny Parker has the Ava Unit 1's skin, but fucking Cloak and Dagger's got a Dio skin.
Hell yeah.
It literally is like after their trip to Japan, they fell in love with citrus fruits. Is like the description of the actual skin.
So funny.
That's
Zawa
awesome.
do
Oh,
do.
because it was called like lemon lime or something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
That's
I'm finally
awesome.
watching JoJo.
Raph. What else have you
Yay.
got for us this week?
I got a whole ass review for a game that I fell in love with this
Ooh.
week. So if you saw my stream last week on Sunday, I played Abiotic Factor. And dude, so I was starting to get burnt out on survival crafting games, or tree punchers as I like to call them.
I like call them that too.
Until
It's a very
I
fair statement.
found this game. This game
Hmm.
is a little different. It's as if, what if you were, let's say you were in Black Mesa during the breach, and you were just a lonely scientist. You were just an NPC, and you just had to survive in the Black Mesa facility during this trans-dimensional like alien invasion. That's what it is. You're just inside of a research facility. You're just a lowly scientist, and you can pair up with up to 5 of your friends and explore this place. It's the thing about this game really is that its environment makes it very unique. You're in this enormous research facility as opposed to sprawling forests, mountains, and caves, and this somehow works. Like, it makes it a little bit more easy to navigate, while also still feeling sprawling and interesting to explore. It's a familiar place. You know what office buildings look like. You know,
Right.
you know what a more industrial building looks like. It has like interesting takes on the mechanics too that you normally see in these survival games. It's a little refreshing. So crafting is a pretty straightforward concept, like most survival craft games. You know, you combine ingredients, usually at a workbench, and you can build the thing. But the cool thing is that as you explore the building, you can find like a stapler, and when you pick up the stapler, your character gets an idea. Maybe I could build this with a stapler. So you go into the crafting menu and you look at all the available ingredients that you have, and you have this little brain that has slots above it, and you can put items in there, it's not you can't lose in this mechanic, but it just adds this extra layer of like, oh, I put
so you
these
don't
things
consume
together.
the mechanics, but you can test which ones might go together
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. Yeah, you
Ah,
put them together. It's like this process of
cool.
elimination, and then boom,
yeah,
you
it's
get the
neat.
recipe, and then you can go to the workbench and build it. Right. And then the other thing is that because of the environment, there's so the facility every night shuts down. The power goes out in the facility, and security bots patrol the building,
Oh my.
along with the aliens and monsters that are throughout the building. But that means that there's no power to power any of your stuff. The other thing is that there's power, like little what do you call them, outlets, like power outlets scattered throughout the building. So you kind of have to build your bases around these power outlets.
Okay,
Because that's how
that's
you
cool.
that's how you power your stuff. So right now I'm currently set up in a little base that's in the security office's kitchen. So I have my cooking
That
stuff
is-
set up in there.
wow.
Is this the one you guys played on stream last
Yeah,
week?
it's the one that I played on stream last week. Yeah. Dude, all of
Cool.
this stuff, you know, like it makes nights scary. You know, the nights lights go out and then you have no
That's
power.
cool.
So yeah, you got to walk around with flashlights, and there's robots that try to kill you, plus the aliens that you find in there. The other thing that makes this game great is the atmosphere. You know, it's the environment combined with the voice acted dialogue, which it's fully voice acted, has an actual plot, these fun mechanics. It's got this mysterious tone, and all of that comes together to make a very refreshing experience that actually made me genuinely curious, like a scientist in a facility, and at one point gave me actual goosebumps. And so I'm going to end the review by telling
Wow.
you, one, that I absolutely fell in love with this game, and two, the radioactive portal story. So we were playing the other day, all right, and we had spent a few hours in this game already. We decided that, oh shit, you know, we're starting to see recipes that require items that we don't have, new materials and resources. So that usually in these games that indicates you've got to start moving to the next area. So we start exploring, and my friend Alex was like, oh, there was this elevator that was over by the third floor, like research facility area that we have to go to. We haven't checked that elevator yet. So I'm like, yep, that's got to be it. So we prepared our stuff for the expedition, head out of our little cafeteria, and we go towards this elevator. As we're taking the elevator up, we're shooting the shit. And I want to preface this that up to this point, we've mostly just seen offices. There was a server farm, a recreational area, which has like a little gym and a pool, and then a small cafeteria. Pretty surface level office stuff. Yeah. As we take the elevator up, we get to the top, and we reach the top, and I see in front of me this big safety glass, and beyond the safety glass, there's a massive chamber with a walkway going out into the center of the room, and in the center of the room is a giant orb, like a black hole. I ran up to it. I was like, cool. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No.
So we started exploring the area. I checked the computer logs and stuff, and I see that there's stuff saying, oh, there's a lot of radiation coming from there to take iodine tablets. Like, oh, there's a bunch of iodine tablets lying around. Everybody take iodine tablets. So we take iodine tablets, and then I make my way to the black hole. I walk up to it, and I see a whiteboard, and there's stuff written on the whiteboard. And I realized, looking at this diagram, I'm like, guys, it's a fucking portal. So I decide that I'm going to just try to walk through, and I do. And first,
that's the D&D shit right there.
Yeah, the portal just rejects me first. Really, and I'm like, oh, nothing happens. So I try it again. And then as I walk through, I end up in a completely alien landscape, like another planet. And we start exploring it. I see a local who's shooting birds on like a cliffside. I'm like, I go to Alex. I'm like, is this guy friendly? Do you think he's friendly? Alex is like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm going to go up and say hi. So I start walking up to him. He turns around and he shoots at me. I'm like, guys, he's not friendly. And we have to run back to the portal. Good times, man. That's it. It's an amazing game. I fucking love it, dude. Cool. And it's like $25. Well worth it. I also want to say this is published by the same people that published Balatro, which is kind of cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Shit.
Yeah. It's PlayStack. They published Balatro and Case of the Golden Idol.
Because you had explained this game to me, but I guess I hadn't really thought about what a survival game inside of an office would entail. But that sounds pretty fucking interesting.
That's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Dude,
you're experiencing it. Right?
You're making armor out of couch cushions and like trays and tape.
That's actually kind of frightening.
Yeah, you're making like knives out of like stacks of pens, like shivs made out of like taped up pens and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
How much was it?
Like $25, I want to say. I got it for $20 on sale, but I think that sale ended, so right now it's like probably 25 around there.
Put that on my wish list.
Yeah.
Mr. Venacore, You got anything else for us this week, sir?
Man, well, I took a big step, boys. Uh, Buck already knows this, but as of just a few days ago, I ordered my very first ever pinball machine, and
Nice.
it is a Guns N' Roses limited edition.
Hell
And
yeah.
I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. This is the one I enjoyed the most. Buck has had one for a very long time. I'm pretty sure I have a couple scores still on his machine, even though I don't live there anymore. And I always said if I do dip my toe into the pinball realm, it'll probably start with Guns N' Roses. And sure enough, they were having a Ring In 2025 sale with $2,025 off the price of the LE.
Oh,
So
nice.
I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I was just on the phone this morning about shipping with Jersey Jack Pinball, and
Nice.
as a side note, I believe I might be getting a Dungeons and Dragons promo
I do believe that may be in the
That's
card.
what they say
I do
about the
believe
pinball machines. They
that might
multiply.
be in the cards.
So you got
Yeah.
the limited
Multiply.
you got the limited edition Guns N' Roses one?
Yeah. That's
I
the
got
same
the
as
LE.
mine.
It's
Yeah.
the same one that Buck has, because the one I played at his house, it's not. I think there's three tiers. There's the
Yeah.
regular, the limited, and then the collectors. And
Collectors.
honestly, the limited edition has the higher up, like the top play field, the dual play field, and that was the big part for me. Is I wanted to make sure it had that second tier
Yeah.
on there. So very very excited.
Huh, you
Should
do.
be here just in time for us to move into the new house in about a week and a
Nice.
half.
Hell
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
Much like Nosferatu, you have cursed Mr. Venacore with an insatiable thirst that'll never be quenched. Next thing you know,
no.
he'll be.
Whatever
he'll-
shall
oh,
I
I'll
do?
faint because I've purchased too
what
many
can I
pinball
do?
machines.
Oh no.
No such thing.
Oh no!
Oh
And I get to go
no!
to Japan with Buck and friends in March of this coming year.
Yeah.
By the way, guys,
Yeah.
nobody mentioned this is our third calendar year of podcasting. We started in 2023.
Technically,
We
yeah.
went all through
That's
2024,
true.
and now we're in 2025.
That's
It
funny.
is January 3rd, 2025, as of the recording of this podcast.
Let's
So
go.
congratulations, boys. We're making it.
Hey, on that wonderful, thankful note, that does it for today's episode. Gentlemen, we have done another one. One I had a lot of fun with. Thank you. Honestly, the inflammatory game episode, A+. So do us a huge favor if you are listening to this, like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are just listening to this on your podcasting app, may I suggest you please head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to that as well. Because you can also see our live streams there, Wednesday through Sundays. You can reach out to us via email with any questions, comments, or games you want us to play. Raph, the people that made that record game have another game that they want you to play.
Oh, okay. I'll give it
You
a
can
go.
reach us at gametreasurepodcast@gmail.com. Head on over to our merch store. That's
Oh, man.
printify.me, I think, or it might be printify.com, where you can get yourself a Choose Your Host mug designed by my girlfriend. You can get a King of Video Games t-shirt or mug designed by Raph. It's really, really funny. We also have our bread t-shirt, and then the classic King of Video Games JPEG
It's
t-shirt,
the best.
which is, yes, perfectly SmackDown in every way. And finally, and most importantly, make sure to head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/the GTP, and subscribe to our $5 tier today so that you can gain access to our exclusive content. That's right. We have made our first episode in our 5-part series that is a deep dive into UFO 50. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. I turn into Wikipedia about UFO 50, basically, and
That's
then
good.
Buck has an analog for every game. So he's like a thesaurus, I guess, of video games in that way.
We're just a bunch of books.
And
Yeah.
we just book it up for an hour and 45 minutes talking about this fantastic game. So go now. You can find links to all of that stuff at our linktree /the GTP. We want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can find music on the internet. And of course, we would like to thank RetroGameTreasure.com, the sponsor of this podcast and the Retro Zone, owned and operated by the Megabuck himself. Retro Game Treasure is a subscription service that takes the hassle out of collecting retro video games. No more hunting, no more guessing, no more wasted time. Instead, you simply become a Retro Game Treasure GameTreasure.com subscriber, and every month video games that are tailored to your collection will come to you in the mail to your door without having to go anywhere or do anything. Go to www.retrogametreasure.com, make your profile, set your settings. You'll never get a repeat game, and you'll most likely never get a game that you won't like. It'll at least be in the genres that you like. Want to start collecting a new console? That's no problem. Head on over to their console shop page where, even if you're not a member, you can get great deals on new and refurbished consoles and accessories. So if you're a member and you don't have an N64 and you're like, I want to start getting N64 stuff, you go buy an N64 and then you just go over to your tab, your little preference tab, and click, I have an N64 now. And then all of that catalog becomes accessible to you and they start coming to you in those boxes. It's awesome. So start collecting games the easy way today with RetroGameTreasure.com. Buck, hit me with this week's new subscribers, please.
This week we welcome Stephanie Pisano, Jake Beckwith, Michael Welker, Corey Tripp, Mason Johnson, Ricardo Lopez, Colton Harner, and Emmanuel Bogun.
Hey, paisanos, that does it for another week. My name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure podcast. It's so bad.
It's so
bad.